Pull. Pick up the pace. Okay. Just jinxed it.
Interview.
Oh, that's true.
Is that your command? Is that not that?
Yeah. I had
Still good looking.
Yeah, I had it detailed.
Yeah.
Went to the bird drive last night.
It's sharp.
Okay, it's 5:30. I'm going to call the April 13th Tipton Common Council meeting to order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the March 23rd meeting. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any amendments to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, moving on to our committee reports. The first is Board of Works and Safety.
We met today, had a pretty busy meeting. We started actually with an interview early in the morning, and then we extended a conditional offer to Javen Stucker for the police department. Young man, about 25. He's been at the Howard County Youth Correctional Facility for almost 5 years now. He's looking to become a police officer. So excited to have a potential new member of the police department. We talked about 3 different alley closures, which we approved. One was for the Tipton County Library's summer kickoff on July 6th. And we also extended a street closure to the school corporation, May 9th from 4 to 9. And then we talked about this alley back here off of Madison, working with maybe a more extensive closure for some demo work that's going on. So talked about that as well. Got updates from the park, cemetery, got updates from the street department. Then we got a pretty extensive update from Tim and his team as they launched the planning department with lots of new stuff, new forms, new processes. We'll be looking at the fee schedule probably soon as a council for planning and zoning. Some of that's driven by state legislation, but they need to be looked at anyway. They're pretty old. I don't know. Only risk I see probably coming in front of the council soon is may have to help Diana with some repairs to the pool, maybe. Just some steps to keep degrading, and we need to determine if it's going to be a short-term fix or a long-term fix or what to do. That's about it.
Very good. Cemetery Board?
Yeah, we had a meeting the 24th of March. It was fairly quiet. We just got updates on everything since our last one in February, so still looking for help.
Thank you. Park Board?
We met on April 7th at 6 o'clock. She let us know the position for watering the flowers downtown has been filled now. Construction for the fencing on the ball diamonds have been set up. the golf cart signs for the trails out here has came in and going to be put up here pretty soon. And they're hard at work on the swimming pool to try to get it open by May 23rd, and it'll run till August 8th. Then the splash pad will stay open after that.
Very good. Utility board.
Utility board met here last Monday. Short meeting, not a whole lot going on, but I would like to give kudos to the electric department for all the hard work they did after that storm come through.
Agreed. Thank you. Moving through our agenda, no items that are new or old business under mayor's report. A few things that I want to update you all with. First is the public safety building. As we continue to work toward completion of that project, we had a material change for the soffit on the front canopy area. So what we've been doing is verifying that the color matches the existing roof material that has been ordered. So that was successfully completed last week. So those remaining materials should be in transit. That's largely the last piece of that project that needs completed. Some final grading will take place out front. I do believe the expectation is to seed that or potentially sod it to have grass out front. Probably be a better aesthetic than the rock that we had prior to this. On the baseball project, as Tim mentioned, we have the fencing installed. Some of it is a snow fence material that is adjacent to the park. Others is traditional construction fencing. They do have a gate that is along 19, allows obviously equipment to get in and out pretty efficiently. Now that they have the fencing installed, we've seen material show up on site as well as the equipment. So their expectation is to start moving the equipment and earth here possibly this week, depends on the rain. But I think they finally had the final pieces that they needed get completed last week. So they should be able to move forward with that project. You likely have noticed the improvements happening to the Little Gem building after quite a long time of the city managing the decline of that property. We, through some acknowledgement from actually Tammy about the cinder block wall, what we discovered was that cinder block wall was actually peeling off that building. So that prompted a scoping of that facility to take into account what the condition of it had become. So we'll see some improvements. You've noticed that cinder block wall is gone. It was a superficial wall. So what we're going to do is put the hardy board plank siding all the way down on that west side. Then we're going to update all the siding to match. With that, painting will occur on the exterior, new HVAC system inside. The LVP or vinyl flooring had buckled. Actually, due to installation, they didn't allow it space to actually flex in the heat, so it buckled under those conditions. We're going to replace all that as well. Repair some minor pieces, drywall that needs done inside, paint the interior, and then that will become the new home for the planning department as a convenient public-facing building for them to conduct business. We've learned that standing up that department, they're quite a busy department for the city of Tipton, getting a lot of traffic. So having their own space to review plans, meet with individuals, both in a private and a public setting, will be really conducive for them. But they're doing a great job, and we'll be successfully managing that project to completion. Speaking of planning, there has been some discussion about the existence of the PUD out west of town. One thing I will note, PUDs are planned unit developments, always follow a project. And without a project in existence, there's no need for a PUD to exist. So much so that typically when a PUD is approved, there's a time frame associated with those. So they expire naturally when there's no action that's taken as a result of a PUD. Our new UDO actually puts in that language to allow it to expire. But we're proactively, since the project from Arbor Homes really didn't go anywhere after 2023. This is now going to be year 3. Typically, those expire after 18 months. So I believe the Planning Commission took a vote to recommend to this council to rescind that PUD. And my expectation is we'll work toward getting that on our agenda for next meeting and formalize that proceeding, return it back to an ag zoning class, which is what we have the remainder of the fringe areas to the city or the undeveloped areas of the city. That's their zoning class, and we're eagerly working toward a project. So I would expect we'll see some progress and at least some conversations with developers continuing. And then lastly from me, well, actually, Nate had mentioned the planning department fees. There's also another piece to that because of state legislation. Not only are we going to go through the practice of updating the fees to match some of the spirit of the new law, but actually requires, and I'm still researching the technicalities to all of this, but it actually requires the funds from the planning department to be put into a non-reverting fund. I think the state legislature is trying to verify that funds received by the department are used by the department to measure, is the department meeting or using those funds to fund only planning department functions, or are those funds subsidizing other activities in the city? Again, going through trying to figure out what all that means and the process of that doesn't have to be done until 12/31. So we've got plenty of time, but that'll be an action that will, if that holds true, will have to be conducted by the council. And I'll be working really closely, obviously, with Tammy on understanding all of that. And the last thing for me is the tax abatement CF1s. Those are coming due here shortly. Colin Huffines, the new director of special projects, is conducting that work. This is a practice that he held over in Lafayette. So has a great deal of experience with this. There'll be some changes to that process as he wants to help not only professionalize the way that we receive this information from those who receive tax abatements, but just improve the process in general to have potentially those folks who've requested tax abatements to, at a minimum, come to a council meeting just so we can see some faces of these individuals and understand those improvements or the assistance that a tax abatement has offered them and the success of their business. So be on the lookout for that in a coming meeting. I think by middle of June, if I'm guessing, is when those need to be completed. So we'll rapidly start working toward that successful solution. With that, we'll move on to the resolutions and ordinances section of our meeting. First is resolution 2026-07, a resolution to transfer within the general fund of the park budget. This was actually related to the concerts in the park, and those are actually going to be paid out of my budget this year. And so there's a little confusion on that to start 2026. So some monies were taken out of her budget. This is just to compensate for that.
I move to approve resolution 2026-07.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-07. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to claims.
I move that we approve claims for payment 181,847 through 182,122 in the amount of $4 million.
Go to your last page. There should be one more claim on there.
Oh, there is. So I guess that would be through 182,123 in the amount of $4,864,676.79.
Second.
We have a motion and a second approving claims this evening. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention?
Aye.
One abstention. That leads us to petitions, comments, and memorials. I know we missed you last meeting, so.
Bob Edinger Tipton. The only thing I want to say is I want to welcome Ms. Pumphrey back to the meeting.
Thanks, Bob.
Can we have a vote on that?
To muzzle him, is that what the vote was for? Hearing, seeing no others,
I got one
Nope.
question. On the park board, I had a couple people asking, do we have to advertise that? If we are, where is it advertised at?
should be on our website and then in our briefs in the paper. So we typically just send those to the dash into the newspaper. So if they're not being, then we'll verify that those are being promoted via the briefs in the paper.
I just had a couple people ask me that.
That was specific to the park board.
Yes.
Have we made any progress on the excess property sale?
I'm headed that way, Joe. I've got a list, and it's on my list.
Okay. The other thing is your department put out last week, all the funding. And it was at like at, what, 31 million or something
The
as total assets?
fund report.
Yes. I guess that wasn't in the form of a question, was it? Am I correct in assuming that is the total assets of the city?
And I would say city inclusive of the utility.
Okay, okay, yes, it did include the utility. Okay.
Because the city and the utility share a bank account.
As far as cash, as far as money.
Yeah.
Not property assets.
Right.
That's not included.
How much is there in cash?
The cash total is the total that you got.
Okay, all
What
right.
I'm saying is your.
And it's locally deposited.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Well, look, hang on, let me say, Bank of New York, there's a few of the miscellaneous, like Bank of New York, and, them are funds that, for certain projects, they went through, the utilities went through another, company to pay for the,
But I assume the utility makes that decision, right? Not the council? Or not the,
I would think that actually the council might have it.
I think both.
Yeah.
I think the utility approves it, like whenever they are doing a bond for, I'm trying to think what, the stormwater,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that, when they done a bond for that, then it was approved through the utility board, but then it comes to the council for approval. It's been-
Yeah. Because the council would be the ultimate fiduciary for the utility, which is
well,
why we approve their claims.
you know where I'm going with this. How much cash is there and where's it at? And I only do that because of the work we've done with solid waste and Trust Indiana. And you just, it's about the simplest thing I've ever seen as far as putting money and getting return. Like 3.64, and you can do anything you want to it. It's just like money in a cigar box in your lower right-hand drawer. I didn't make that up, but someone else did. But that was my only question. I can work on that later.
Anything else from the council? Accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
I wonder what happens if everybody votes not to adjourn.
For quite a while.
So what's happening is